What's good, everyone? It's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a look at the performance review of the Nike Zoom Freak 5. Alright, so just to get into the Nike Zoom Freak 5 right away, right off the bat, I will say this is my favorite shoe from Giannis's line so far. There are a few of them that I did play in the past. I believe I skipped the 4 altogether. I do really like the 5s, but without further ado, let's get into the traction. So as you can see here on the bottom of the shoe, this forefoot does have a really tight-knit multi-directional traction pattern. And then in the heel, it's spread out more, and it kind of reminds me of the Nike GT Cut 2's traction pattern in the back, just the way it's set up, and how these perform on indoor courts. Whether it's clean or dirty, I don't think you'll have too many issues. I will say though, on dirty floors you will have to wipe, because this portion here in the forefoot, with it being kind of really tightly knit together, it does collect dust and kind of jam up those grooves there. But as long as you wipe on dirty floors, these will have a pretty good bite. On clean floors, you'll have no issues laterally or going linearly. You will be fine in the Nike Zoom Freak 5. So overall, so far, I think I've played about 12 hours in these. And as you can see, there is really no wear and tear at all on these guys. So far, I've really enjoyed the traction setup. Outdoors, I would say this forefoot stuff will wear away because it is pretty soft, as you can see here. It does kind of move pretty easily. So outdoors, I would say this is a no-go in my opinion, but if you can catch these on sale for, 30 or 40% off, I think it would be a decent viable option. I just think you're gonna burn through the stuff in the forefoot. So as far as the traction goes on these guys right here, I would have to give it a pretty solid 8 out of 10. As far as the cushioning goes, this shoe does have a full-length Phylon midsole, as you can see here, and it does seem to be somewhat of a tweaked Phylon because it's pretty bouncy, especially in the heel. So you do have that Phylon running all the way around the shoe. It's not really caged here, but the outsole does wrap up just a little bit with that swoosh, and then the medial side is fully uncaged. You have that Phylon, and then in the forefoot, you have a pretty large volume zoom bag in the forefoot. So as far as the springiness underfoot, you're gonna get all of that in the forefoot, and it's very close to the floor here at the forefoot of the Nike Zoom Freak 5. I really enjoy the zoom bag up front. It's a very nice feeling, and if you do play on your forefoot, I think you'll really enjoy this setup here. It does remind me of a lot of the Kyrie models of the past, but I am a little concerned because I think that Phylon will wear down and bottom out, after about 30 or 40 hours. I think it's going to become pretty dead in the heel. That zoom bag up front will be nice, but it's going to become more dead at the back of the shoe. As far as the heel to toe transition in these, it's absolutely beautiful. Again, really no caging at all at the back of the shoe, so very fluid from the back all the way to the forefoot. So overall, so far in the Nike Zoom Freak series, I would actually have to say that this is my favorite cushioning setup thus far. I really do like that large volume zoom airbag in the forefoot. I would like something in the heel, whether it be React or a smaller zoom airbag, but you're not getting anything here in the Zoom Freak 5 in the back of the shoe. So time will tell if that Phylon does become a little bit more dead. But as it stands right now, I am enjoying my time as far as the cushioning goes. So as far as the cushioning goes on the Nike Zoom Freak 5, I'm gonna have to give these a 7.5 out of 10. So as far as the fit goes on the Nike Zoom Freak 5, I did go with my standard size 10.5 that I usually go in my Nike basketball shoes. And as you can see here in the forefoot, it does taper in a little bit near the toe, and there is not a lot of volume here either. So as far as the fit goes, I did go true to size, but it is a super, and I mean super, like straight jacket, super snug fit here. So my toe is basically touching the end. In the size 11, I just had a little bit too much wiggle room right out of the box, and then once they break in, I was a little too concerned that it would be a sloppy fit, so I did go with a size 10.5, and I'm happy that I did, because once they broke in, again, it's a very snug fit, but the material broke in pretty nicely, and I just enjoyed the overall very much one-to-one fit in the Nike Zoom Freak 5. I will say, however, if you are a wide footer, just the way it tapers in the forefoot, I would say you should go up half a size. If you have more of a regular foot where it's not as wide, I think you can get away with true to size. But I would say if you can try these on in store, that's probably your best bet, because I was unsure, because last year for me, the Zoom Freak 4s had a super sloppy fit. A 10.5 felt like an 11, and a 10 felt like a 10.5. And even then, it was too wide in the forefoot, but I did not have that problem here. And the lace line going up, it's a traditional lacing system, except for here where you have these straps, these blue portions here on the lateral and medial side. And those do run down to the footbed here. So when you really crank these guys down, it really does wrap nicely around your foot. So you'll be secure and locked in the Nike Zoom Freak 5 if you get your proper size. So as far as the fit goes in these guys, I'm gonna have to give them a very nice 8.5 out of 10. So as far as the materials so far on the Nike Zoom Freak 5, on this pair for me, I'm not a huge fan of the synthetic leather here on the toe. I know they're trying to go with some old school materials on these, but I think if they put something a little bit better than what they have put on here, it's a complete synthetic material. It feels super cheap as far as the synthetic leather goes, but everywhere else, I'm not mad at it at all. It is just a really cheap screen mesh. But what I do like is it really offers no break-in time at all, because it's very form-fitting and very natural feeling on foot. Another thing I like about the screen mesh is that it's very breathable. It does not trap air in. Even though you have that leather portion at the toe kind of running to the medial side a bit and up the eye stay, it does not trap heat in, because you have this screen mesh portion here. And then on the medial side, you have more screen mesh. So it's very lightweight, very breathable. I'm just not a huge fan of the synthetic leather that they did put on this here at the toe. And then the tongue is a mesh material. It's not too tightly knit, so it does let out some air as well. And then the tongue, it almost feels like a nubuck on the tongue here, as you can see. So it feels a little bit different than the other material wrapping around the toe. And then the back, you do have some more synthetic leather. So I think if they put some nice nubuck, suede, or some genuine leather on these, I think it would definitely be a nicer looking shoe. And just at the price point as well, I think these are 130 USD, 170 here in Canada. So I just think you'd get a better bang for your buck. As far as this gold metallic swoosh, some more synthetic leather here. And then the gold portion on the midsole is just Phylon that's painted. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of this colorway or the execution of materials. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think so far of the Zoom Freak 5 as far as the materials go. But for me, I'm gonna have to give the materials a 7 out of 10. So as far as the weight goes on the Nike Zoom Freak 5, I think this is his lightest shoe to date. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this right here is a US size 10.5, and in hand it feels very lightweight. On foot it feels even more lightweight, and these come in at 13.55 ounces, so about 2 ounces lighter than the Nike LeBron 20. So as far as the weight goes, I think Nike Basketball did a fantastic job on making a lightweight basketball shoe in a low top form. So as far as the support goes in the Nike Zoom Freak 5, it's a pretty basic setup in my opinion. So you are getting an internal heel counter here at the back of the shoe, and it does wrap down to right about here, down into the midsole. So it does do a pretty good job on keeping your heel locked in and offering you that support for your ankle, so your foot is not moving at all within this shoe. And then moving your way down from that, there's really nothing else. You are getting some support from this leather, I guess I should say synthetic leather material. It is on the eye stay, and then you do have these kind of synthetic leather bands here. So when you crank those down with the laces going through them, it does wrap up your foot and really harness your foot in, because these do run down a bit into the footbed. So those do a fantastic job on locking your foot in for those lateral hard movements. Again, looking at this swoosh, you think it would offer some lateral support on those hard lateral cuts, but it's really doing nothing. It's a soft material and it's a synthetic material, so you're not getting a whole lot right there. But this midsole, even though it is soft, it does wrap up the side of the shoe over your toes. So on those hard lateral cuts, you have that material with these two eyelets here on the lateral medial side, and then this midsole wrapping up. So you'll be covered on those hard lateral cuts. This material was not moving at all when I was kind of making all the movements I wanted to make in the Zoom Freak 5. So I would not be concerned as far as the lateral containment. Where I am a little concerned over time, the fact that there actually is no shank plate at all, bottom loaded or top loaded in the Zoom Freak 5. So you can contort this shoe decently. There is still some forefoot flex. It does have a bit of support just because it has a thicker outsole, but I am concerned over time that that could become a problem for your foot if you do need that extra midfoot support. Now, one way you could fix this, just give me one sec here, is with a insole. One way you can actually fix this issue with not having any arch support or midfoot support is with the Move insoles. So I've actually been playing in the Game Day and these Game Day Pros, and I did toss these in there a few times while I was wearing these, just to kind of get a taste of the factory insole, and then these guys right here. And then if you don't know, they do have a support plate at the bottom that kind of runs from your midfoot to your heel, and it offers some really nice arch support here at your midfoot, and then some great torsion support under your foot with this plate. So having these in the Zoom Freak 5 went a long way, but if you're going to be playing in these factory, you will really have no midfoot support in the Nike Zoom Freak 5. But the hard lateral cuts I had no issues with. I really had no issues with the midfoot support. I think just over time is where my concern lies. So as far as the support goes in the Nike Zoom Freak 5, I would have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So that's going to do it for today's video on the Nike Zoom Freak 5. I will say that this is my favorite shoe from Giannis's collection so far. I think Nike did a pretty good job as far as the cushioning goes. I'm just a little concerned over time if that Phylon will break down, but as it stands right now, I am really enjoying the fluid cushioning setup. Materials we already went through, not a huge fan of that synthetic leather, sorry. But the screen mesh I do like. It's very breathable and very natural feeling on foot. As far as the design goes of this shoe, I really like that oversized swoosh. I'm just not a fan of this overall colorway. The green and the red and the gold, it kind of looks like a Gucci shoe on foot. It's really not for me. I do like the multicolor outsole. I do think the overall design looks great. I'm just not a fan of this colorway. But sound off in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And then of course the traction on this was pretty elite. On clean floors, on dirty floors, you will have to wipe. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments on his 5th signature shoe with Nike, and what you guys would like to see from him and the brand for his 6th shoe. That's gonna do it for today's video. As always, if you guys can like, comment, and subscribe, that does help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at 23mj88, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.